Hello and welcome back to Movie Health Community, the internet's #1 source of health warnings at the movies. As always, please keep in mind that nothing produced by Movie Health Community is medical advice, nor has any of it been reviewed by medical professionals. Today we're talking about Mean Girls, the teen comedy with Rachel McAdams and Lindsay Lohan, and, Today we're talking about Mean Girls the Musical on Broadway. Nope. Today we're talking about Mean Girls the Musical adapted from the Broadway musical based on the 2004 film. Woo! Now, before we talk about whether this movie's any good, let's talk about, is this movie safe for photosensitive audiences? If we're talking about the 2004 movie, absolutely. That movie is so safe. But if we're talking about this brand new 2024 movie, the answer is God, no. This movie is really unsafe for photosensitive audiences. I've got a lot written over here, so let's go over it. This movie has two musical numbers where the second halves of these musical numbers are covered in really intense strobe lights. These musical numbers are Someone Gets Hurt, which frequently uses the phrase until someone gets hurt. So when you hear that phrase a lot, just know that you're getting ready to see some really intense strobe lights. The other one is World Burn, which frequently uses the phrase watch the world burn. If you start hearing that phrase, you're about to see a whole bunch of really intense strobe effects. There are a few scenes that have some singular camera flashes. They're very bright. The flashes take up the entire screen, but they don't create strobe effects. And on two occasions, that might actually be more, we have some rapidly changing images during some sequences where we have vertically shot video that's filmed like this, not like this. And in a couple of these sequences, we get some image changes that are so fast that they do create strobe effects. For flashing lights, we are giving Mean Girls 2024 a 10 out of 10. I am so sorry to report that this movie is so unsafe for photosensitive audiences, because the strobe effects during these musical numbers are really, really intense. In terms of motion sickness, this movie has a few scenes using handheld cameras, a few scenes using shaking cameras, but the most common offender is orbiting shots that you'll typically see in a lot of musicals, especially if there's romance involved. But these orbiting shots orbit the person very, very fast. I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm not quite sure how they pulled that off, getting the cameras to move that fast and that smooth around all these people. And then for mental health, there is a lot of schoolyard bullying in this film. If you're familiar with the 2004 movie, that shouldn't be surprising at all. Now, is this movie any good? I would say yeah. I think there's definitely a new audience opened up in adapting the Broadway musical into a movie. Just people who like musicals but don't typically go for the teen comedies. This is an excellent movie for you. People who have been following Angourie Rice's career since she totally stole the show in The Nice Guys. This is a good movie to watch her try to carry. But the real standout in this movie, who actually does most of the carrying of the movie, is Auli'i Cravalho. I really hope I pronounced that right. The actress who played Moana, she shines in this movie. She's the one who really has the ability to carry a full musical movie, proving now with Mean Girls that she can do it in live action. With the trailers, I was really impressed with the presence that Reneé Rapp brought to the role of Regina George. I'm not quite sure she maintains that presence of owning the entire room throughout the whole movie the same way she does in pretty much every shot of these trailers. But it definitely was a good move to cast an actress who's significantly taller than most of the other actresses around her in this role. That was a good creative choice. I thought she did really good. I think my biggest complaint, if anything, on Regina George is a breathy quality with a lot of her singing, which you hear in a lot of modern music and not in more traditional musical fare. It was definitely a good idea, and this is a very micro spoiler, but not big enough that I feel like giving a spoiler warning. It was a very good idea to abandon the idea that one of the teachers is a predator. Now that brings me to one thing, because obviously we're going to be comparing this to the 2004 Mean Girls. The 2004 Mean Girls is going to age better than the 2024 Mean Girls. And what I mean by that is There is somewhat of a sense of timelessness. It feels like a lot of 2000s teen comedies. It did enough that everything that everybody goes through in the 2004 Mean Girls should still be relatable now. But now in 2024, this movie feels like it's very time capsule-y of 2024. Like this specific period of time, I feel like less of it will be relatable 20 years from now. I am going to give the 2024 version of Mean Girls a B+. Thank you so much to our readers on Tumblr and Facebook, and an extra special thanks to our patrons over on our Patreon page whose names are scrolling on the screen like credits right now. Be sure to leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we post new videos, and as always, stay safe at the movies.